Now, children, as Nurse tells me you've all been good today, come over here to me, and I'll tell you the fairy story of old Mother Goose. Now listen. Old Mother Goose lived in a funny little house with a sleepy old owl on a tree outside. You know how an owl goes. Ooh, ooh. One day she sent her son Jack to market to see what he could buy. He first met a man who said, "I've got some fine ducks." So Jack said, "What do they do?" And the man said, "Oh, they sing. Listen. Quack, 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 quack." Then Jack met another man who said, "I've got some fine pigs." And Jack said, "Well, what can they do?" And the man said, "Oh, they sing. Listen." Then Jack met a man who said, "I've got some fine fowls." And Jack said, "Well, what can they do?" And the man said, "Oh, they sing. Listen." But Jack said, "I don't want any of these things." Then he met a little old woman who said she was very hungry, and Jack gave her half of his dinner. Wasn't that nice? Then the little old woman, who was really a fairy, only Jack did not know it, said, "Here, Jack, buy my goose." And Jack said, "Well, what does she do?" And the fairy said, "Well, if you are kind to her, she will lay golden eggs." So Jack took the goose home, and every morning they found a beautiful golden egg, and Jack's mother became very rich. Then the wicked squire said he would marry her, and then he could have all the golden eggs. And because poor Jack was in the way, he beat him and sent him away. Then the wicked squire got so greedy that he thought he would kill the goose, and then he could get all the golden eggs at once. So he cut off the goose's head, and of course the poor goose died, and he lost all the eggs and the goosey too. That's what comes of being greedy. But you see, the fairy looked after Jack because he was such a good boy that she gave him another goose, and they got more golden eggs, and they got a lot of money, and Jack's mother got a lovely palace, and Jack met a beautiful princess, and he married her, took her home to this palace, and they lived happily ever afterwards. That was for being a good boy and not for being greedy, because he gave half of his dinner to the fairy, didn't he? Good night, children. Good night, dear.